Hey, welcome to our interview series with WellNest Global and international holistic expert, Consilience, exploring new ways of thriving. You're finding us here on YouTube on our channel at WellNest Global, and I'm Valarie Angle Roberts, your hostess, and I'm here today with Brandi Englett. Brandi is a master Reiki Master and a Reiki teacher, as well as a healer who does both in-person and distant healing. And she recently released, co-authored an anthology called Circle of the One, which she might talk a little bit about today. But I want to welcome you, Brandi. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. I'm excited. We were chatting just before we came on, and I'm excited to introduce you to our audience and let them know a little bit more about you. So let's go ahead and dive in. We want our audience to be able to walk away with whatever they need today, whether that's excitement for something new, or peace of mind, or alignment with something that they've been feeling. So I'm excited for them to hear from you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Brandi, and tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Okay, so I am a Reiki Master teacher from Georgia. And the way that I arrived here is kind of an interesting story, really. I grew up in an abusive home and spent a large part of my life trying to heal from the trauma that generated in my life. And at the end of 2017, I had a very profound spiritual awakening. Now, this was not something completely out of the ordinary. I come from a family that does have a lot of spiritual gifts. So this wasn't something completely out of the ordinary, but it was very sudden. It went from 0 to 60 and nothing flat. It was like somebody flipped the light switch on. And that plunged me into a very deep healing phase of my journey. And in the middle of that, because there was a lot that went on, I was having a lot of very profound spiritual experiences. My husband and I actually separated. And so I was alone, and I started becoming aware of Reiki. It was one of those divine inspirations. I live by the rule that there are no such thing as coincidences. And so all of a sudden I see Reiki everywhere, and I had no idea what Reiki even was. All I knew was that my spiritual team was telling me that this is where you need to go. And I found a local healer, and Reiki completely changed my life. I went for one session and walked out of there effectively cured of my depression. I had been clinically depressed since the age of 13. I had been suicidal at 17. And had really been going through life just, the best I could, really, just by sheer grit, being able to get through each day. Some days being better than others. I was severely depressed, and walking into Reiki, not even knowing what to expect, and then walking out a completely different person was life-changing. And over the course of several months, I had a few other sessions, and that helped me tremendously in my own healing journey. I was able to really dive deep and be able to release a lot of the trauma that I had been through. And so the way that I kind of bridged between having Reiki and becoming a Reiki practitioner was I started having dreams. I was shown that I was a healer in these dreams for 2 solid weeks. Every single night, I would have one dream of me being a healer in various time frames. And I would wake up immediately after and be told to write the dream down. And so I did that. And this happened for 2 solid weeks. So you can't really just say, oh, well, it was just a dream or two. This was an event. This was a revelation. And, at the end of the 2 weeks, I started questioning who I was. What am I? What am I here for? Why are you showing this to me? And then I really started to realize that I was a healer after an experience with, I had a cat that become very ill, and I had a very profound experience, and that actually turned into being one of my very first healings. And now I'm a Reiki Master teacher. And so I teach other people how to do Reiki now, and walk that Reiki path, because it really is its own path, regardless of what your spiritual background is or your religious beliefs or the lack thereof. Reiki works on a very deep level. And so having had it change my life in such a profound way, I try to give that to other people now, not only in sessions, but also in classes.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really amazing how you were kind of drawn. We were talking earlier, like synchronicities, coincidences. There's really not such thing. It's just all about kind of coming into line with what you're supposed to be doing next. And it's, it's kind of tapping you on the shoulder and then shaking you and then slapping you upside the head until you figure
Exactly.
it out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it got your attention, and that was because that's what you needed at the
Yeah.
time. And yeah, and so that makes me think that there's going to be someone who's watching this, or many people who are watching this, that are like, yeah, and something's going to click. And when it clicks like that for you and you have that feeling, don't ignore that, because that is definitely something that's meant to guide you, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like what you said about it just being such a profound experience. And when folks go over to follow you on Facebook, they'll see a little bit of your story there, and what you were talking about there about you did other things. You had tried other things along the way, from your childhood on until your 30s, and but you were still experiencing the depression and the suicidal tendencies and that just overall unknowing. So I love that you found your purpose, and it's really what kind of changed your life. And I believe that's because of it's that fusion of energetics and spirituality, that's innate spirituality, not the dogmatic religious stuff, but the kind of who we are spirituality. And it kind of awakened that in you, and so you're living your purpose. So so tell us how you do your sessions now. You do both in person and distance sessions?
Yes, I do. So if the viewer just happens to be around the Thompson, Georgia area, I do have an office at the local chiropractic office, and you can come and see me there. But most of my clients these days are actual virtual. And so the way that works is you can just reach out to me through the Facebook page. There's also a WhatsApp link there, so you can reach me through WhatsApp. You can also reach me at Brandi Englett on Facebook as well, if you wanted to, kind of see a little bit more about me. But so those virtual sessions, you just reach out, we'll get you on my calendar. And those virtual sessions are through video. And at the beginning, we kind of go over a few things, see where you are in life. And then we do the session. And then afterwards, if there was any spiritual messages that came through or anything that I found energetically, I will talk to the client about that and kind of talk about some aftercare as well.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you kind of talked us through like what to expect when they connect with you. If somebody is brand new to Reiki, that they've never had a Reiki session before, or they don't, they're kind of listening and they're interested, but they don't really know what we're talking about with Reiki, what are they going to like physically experience during the session?
Okay, so Reiki, if it's virtually, of course, there won't be any physical touch, but you can experience a whole wide range of feelings within your body. You may feel very hot, you may feel very cold. Some people can even feel the energy flowing through them. And a lot of people explain it like it feels like water's being poured inside of your body, or water is running through your body. And you may feel pressure in certain parts of your body, that's usually because there's a blockage there. And that pressure will build and build and build. And then all of a sudden it will release and that energy will flow through. But it's not uncomfortable at all. And some people feel nothing, and that's perfectly fine. But pretty much everybody walks away with an overwhelming sense of peace and love. It just really relaxes the body in a way that I've never experienced with anything else. And I always get people in a meditative state, so that helps as well to kind of put you in that mindset of peace. But Reiki itself really works on all levels of your existence. So not just your physical body, but your energetic and spiritual bodies as well. And because of that, healing can manifest in a lot of different ways, and it can feel very different depending on what is actually taking place. Some people just bust out crying. The first session that I had, that was my experience. She was not speaking to me, and all of a sudden she started pulling energy from my heart, and I immediately started to cry because it was so much grief that I had stored around my heart chakra that it had to have some place to go. And I have a lot of clients that actually do cry during a session. But that is the body releasing finally that grief that's been held there for so long.
Yeah, really good point, because we talked about your journey and your mental health, and Reiki can be used for physical ailments, physical well-being, stress. A lot of people really rely on it as a consistent stress management resource, along with their other self-care. So really because we're talking about an energetic level at the molecular energy quantum level. So it's not not a superficial band-aid. It's not a temporary thing. And you could have a life-changing experience with one Reiki session, and continue to go on and have a maintenance, just like you would with a chiropractor or massage or something like that.
Yeah. Reiki is compounded. So the more that you have Reiki sessions, the more peels you remove of that of the healing process. So I look at healing kind of like peeling an onion. And so you peel off a layer, and there's a layer beneath it. You might cry a little bit in the process, but the more you go and have Reiki sessions, the deeper the healing becomes. Yes, some people do have a very profound healing experience the very first time. But a lot of people continue to come back because they realize that each time they have a session, that they are finding more peace in their life. They're less angry. They're less inflamed and irritated with life in general. Their depression and anxiety starts to fade away. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't realize this, but if there's something energetic being stored in the body, like let's say grief is a good one. Grief can actually cause physical pain. And when you start to remove that grief, all of a sudden a person's back stops hurting, or their arm suddenly stops hurting. So there's a lot of stuff that actually coordinates with each other in your body. And if you're storing a lot of trauma and grief and anger in your body, it can actually cause physical ailments to manifest. And so people do see a lot of improvement in their physical condition after they heal a lot of the trauma that they've been through.
I'm glad you said that. Those are really good points, good things to touch on. And I feel like I want to talk to you all day, but I'm going to try to keep it brief, because we try to keep these brief so people can, fit them into their busy schedules.
Absolutely.
You mentioned, as you progressed and you began learning, you began developing your own other skills, spiritual skills and things like that. And that's, I think, commonly the case when people start to study Reiki to become a teacher themselves or a healer themselves. They begin to uncover, like you said, an onion, other new things about you. So when you're working with someone, you also bring that to the table, a little bit of that spiritual mediumship as well. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have various intuitive spiritual abilities. And I can see energy inside of a person when I'm working with them. Sometimes passed on loved ones or spiritual helpers, because every soul has a team of spiritual helpers. And I invite them into every session. So from time to time, there will be messages for my clients. And if my client is open to hearing those, I always, relay those messages to them. And sometimes they don't necessarily make sense to me at the moment, but it's something very profound to the client. And I also pick up on things that the client never told me. So intuitively, I know things about people when I connect to them, and I'm able to find pain in people's bodies without them telling me previously. Or like, let's say they're having some type of medical issue, like they're having digestive issues and it's been a chronic thing, but they didn't tell me that at the beginning. A lot of times I pick up on that stuff. And so because energetically there's a signature there. But intuitively, I do pick up on a whole lot of things, and it varies from session to session. And but the mediumship abilities do come forward from time to time for certain clients, especially if it's something that's very healing for that person at that time.
It's just the right thing at the right time. They don't need to worry that it's more than they can handle, or that I hear that a lot, is like, well, what if they tell me something really scary or bad or whatever? And spirit's only going to bring you what you need at the time, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about a session with me. Only beings of light are allowed in a session, period. So there is an energetic boundary there. There's not going to be anything scary that comes through the session. I can guarantee you that. And on a Reiki level, if there's people out there that don't know about the energetics of Reiki, I can tell you that Reiki always 100% of the time works for your highest good, whatever that is at the moment. So it may be an uncomfortable truth in your life that you have to face, but it's something that you need at that moment. But at no point is there going to be a scary message or anything really scary that's going to happen. Energetic boundaries are very important, and it's something that I observe in every single session.
Thank you for clarifying that. I think that's really important for people to hear, because especially if they're new to it and it's something that they're intrigued by but unsure. Which reminds me to, ask you about your teaching. So you'll do the healing, but if somebody wants to learn more, you're also a master teacher, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I'm an Usui Reiki Master teacher. And the tradition that I was brought up through, we have 4 levels. So you start out at level 1 and you go to the master teacher level, which is level 4. And during that time, you are taught everything that you need to know about being a healer. You learn about those energetic boundaries very first level, and you practice Reiki with me. Now, with the Reiki classes, it is a little bit different. In my tradition, we only do them in person, but they're very affordable. And so if travel is something that's necessary, a lot of people find that they can work that into their budget.
Awesome. That's good to know. And I'm sure that people would love to come to beautiful Georgia to work with you one-on-one and to experience that and learn from you as well. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us today and your story. And if people want to know more about you, they can connect with you on Facebook, or they can pick up a copy of the anthology that you're a part of that's recently released. What else would you like people to know, or how can they connect with you?
So my business page on Facebook is Internal Flame Healing, and you can find me there. Or if you resonate with my energy enough to want to reach out on a personal level, of course, you can find me at Brandi Englett on Facebook. And the Circle of the One is out there on Amazon. So that tells a little bit more about my story as well, if you're interested. And it's available on ebook right now. So super easy to get your copy, if you so desire.
Awesome. And we will be sure to put all of those links in the description below the YouTube video. So You don't have to worry, especially if you're listening to this while you're on your walk or driving. You don't have to write it down right now. Just check out the description below the video. We are just so grateful to have you here with us today, Brandi, and I'm loving chatting with you and sharing in your energy, and I can't wait to learn more about you myself. But we'll go ahead and get ready to wrap it up here today. And so I just want to, again, thank you and let our audience know that, our intention here is to empower you. So with tools and wisdom and resources like what Brandi offers here today, so that you can thrive through your journey in this life with peace of mind, feeling safe, feeling satisfied, finding success, whatever it is that you're searching for, that's what we're here to connect you with. So be sure to subscribe to this interview series, Consilience, Exploring New Ways of Thriving, so that you can learn lots of different ways to care for yourself, mind, body, and spirit. And be sure to check in every week where we'll have new episodes. So we will see you all soon. And thank you, Brandi, for being here.
All right. Thank you so much.